And we're back for another episode of Feed the Beast, Direwolf 20-pack 1.6.4 on the Mystic Horizons server. As you can see, my base, we've finally finished quarrying out, or turtling out underneath here. My materials are gathering quite nicely. It's working out pretty good. Realized that once this compactor pack backs up, it's going to start producing compressed sand because it does 9x9s first, but oh well, we'll deal with that at another point. I've got a pumpkin farm happening over here. As you can see, I've started. It wouldn't be one of my builds without pumpkin lighting everywhere. So started a farm there. Got melons here as well. Right now they're on manual, so flick the lever and watch as the melons get harvested off the crops. Now what I'm using here is I'm using IC2 crop sticks. It's very, at least on this mod pack, you want to be very careful with these and make sure they're all planted before you put an MFR harvester in. The reason being is that if you don't and you leave bare crop sticks in an area that an MFR harvester touches, it's going to spam the console with errors. IC2 crop sticks and harvesters do not play nice with each other. So make sure that they're planted before you drop this machine down. I had to apologize for spamming the console a little bit. But this is great. I got a nice supply of melons and another nice supply of pumpkins over here. Those are going quite nicely. As you can see, yep, we've got quite a lot of space. I did a slight improvement over here. Added some barrels in here because just, there were too many materials. So now I've got, if you can see in here, how can I get in here? Here we go. The pipe that was coming up from the planter now goes to sorting pipes that empty out into here. And then out of the bottom of the barrel into the furnace, and then basically everything's the same, but again, I'm using a barrel for charcoal. It just works a little bit better, so I'm happy. These nether brick covers, they're just down there temporarily. There's a lot of problems with 1.0.2 and crafting multi-part covers. If you use a saw with a lot of materials, it'll crash your client out to the desktop. So yeah, that's not going to work. We're going to come back to that in a moment. But first we're going to check out Applied Energy. What the? Sign donated to the... Thanks, Zos. I'm going to guess that's Zos. He said he placed a sign somewhere on my base. And sign donated to the Beardies. Okay, yep, I saw it, and I was recording when I found it, so there you go. There's the sign. All right, anyway, moving on. We're going to check out Applied Energistics. It does a lot of things, Applied Energistics. Storage, auto-crafting. We've actually already used it on this Let's Play series. With the grindstone and the wooden crank, those are actually part of the Applied Energistics mod, even though they really have nothing to do with the rest of the mod. Useful for early stuff, but, other than that, no. So, what are we going to do? Well, I need to walk through a lot of things here. You see this row of this crafting stations? I have stuff in all of them here. We've got quite a long list of things to do to get AE up and running. So let's walk through some of them. Now, the first thing that you're going to need, and this is for pretty much anything to do with Applied Energistics, is the quartz cutting knife. Now, this is created with 2 sticks, a piece of iron, and 2 pieces of quartz. And the quartz can be independent. They can be either nether quartz or Certus quartz. I use nether quartz because it's much more abundant. And I also apologize a little bit if I sound a little stuffed up today. Kind of getting over a cold, so anyway. So yeah, create them like this. Now this is a tool that will take damage as we use it, but this one should be enough for now. The first thing we need to create, and I'm going to back through a bunch of things here, is if we go to mod.applied, there we go. First thing we're going to need is an ME controller. Now the ME controller accepts power in the form of EU, RF, or MJ. And what it does is it's basically the brain of what everything else for AE. Everything that's plugged in to the network is run off of the ME controller, and you'll get some readouts on it as to the power level, the connected devices, and all the different things that we're going to do. So to create that, it's 4 iron, a advanced processor, and 4 fluix crystals. So fluix crystals, let's start out there. Those are pretty simple. Certus quartz, nether quartz, redstone. So we're going to create 4 of those, and we're good. Okay. The advanced processor, what is that? Well, it's a diamond. Yeah, so it gets a little expensive right off the bat here. A diamond, redstone, and silicon. Now, silicon is done by burning quartz dust, whether it be nether quartz or certus quartz dust. You can create nether quartz dust by putting it through a pulverizer. I would recommend, again, using nether quartz because of the fact that, you have the whole nether. You can just mine out a bunch of quartz, even though a lot of people use it for, construction materials these days. It is infinitely more useful and more abundant than certus quartz. So we are going to put the cutting knife up into the crafting table like this, and we create the processor assembly. Now this isn't done. We have to cook it to actually. I like to think that this is kind of like everything's stuck together, and then you put it through the furnace to kind of melt all the solder into place. So I'm going to create 6 because we're going to need 6 for the initial build that I'm doing here. So what we're going to do while we're building other stuff is we're going to just head down here and throw these into the furnace and let them cook up. So we go back up here. So what else do we need? Well, we're going to put the fluix crystals here, and we're going to have the controller here. We're going to get that in a moment. What else are we going to need? Well, we're going to need some basic processors as well, because there's a lot of other devices that, again, use these processor assemblies. Some use basics, and some use advanced. Don't worry too much about remembering how this is done, because once you have an AE system, this is one of the first recipes you craft into it so that you don't have to bother remembering anything about this anymore. So, again, redstone, gold, and silicon, not quite as expensive, but again, when you're first starting your build, it's going to be really, really expensive on stuff like gold and iron and even some diamonds. So I'm going to make those. Once again, you can see that the durability of our cutting knife is diminishing, but at this point, this is pretty much all we're going to need the cutting knife for these processors. So we don't have to create another one. And again, I'm going to go and throw these into our furnace. And, oh, look, there's our advanced processors cooked up and ready to go. So back upstairs. Look at the nice sunrise. Look at that. This is what I love, this island. I love living here. So, where are we going? Let's put our advanced processor here, and we got our ME controller. Great. Now, what else are we going to build? Well, there's some prerequisites here. One thing you'll be making a lot of is fluix dust. It is nether quartz dust, which is, again, done by macerating nether quartz. Certus quartz dust, which you can find in the world or macerate certus quartz. And redstone. 3 gives you 2. So I've kind of pre-calculated how much we're going to need, so I'm going to create 21 batches, which is 42 fluix dust. So I'm going to take that. What else are we going to need? Well, we are going to... I can't remember what went in here. I'm going to guess... let's see here. I don't remember what I did here. Let's see. Let me check my notes. In the meantime, while we do that, I'm going to run downstairs and quickly grab the processors, which should all be done cooking. What recipe? I should have labeled these. Really should have labeled them. Well, let's try playing around here. What do I need? There we go. Okay. Okay. Just start throwing random crap into the crafting table, see what happens. That should work out, right? Yeah, all right. Okay, so the crafting recipe that I have here is conversion matrix, or conversion matrices, since we're making 6 of them. It's nether quartz, iron, fluix dust, basic processor, and Certus quartz. What do these do? Conversion matrix, think of them as like a transporter, pattern scanner kind of thing. Anytime that you're working on a machine that converts things to the AE digital form and back out, you're going to need a conversion matrix. And so therefore, that's why I'm making 6 of them, because we have a lot of things that obviously use these. So we're going to create those. I know this is complicated, but okay. So if you've been following along and are now going, what's going on? I don't get it. Okay, let's back up a bit. So when you're creating an ME system or an AE system, I don't know why they differentiate between ME and AE, whatever. You want the controller and at minimum some kind of storage here. The storage is created. Let's create a ME chest, which is 2 glass, a conversion matrix, a chest, and iron. This is pretty much exactly what you think. You take an ME chest and you plug it into your ME network. You put storage into it, and it operates like a chest. You right-click on it. You get to take in, you get to put in items and take them out. Very straightforward. Really nothing to think about, and pretty easy to use. The other, let's see here. The other one is, do I have it along here somewhere? I probably don't. Let's see here. I don't think I have the other one set up yet. The other one is an ME drive cage, which is this one. It's kind of slightly different. It has room for multiple storage devices, but we'll not get to that quite just yet. We'll come back to that. So, what am I creating here? Put those in there. We're going to create some storage cells. Now, what these are these are used for the actual memory devices, like the 1K storage, 16K, 64, 4K, etc., etc., etc. We're going to use these in various machines, so we're going to create a bunch of them. And let's see here. Oh, come on. The other thing we're going to create is some ME cable. The ME cable is useful for connecting ME devices that aren't necessarily sitting on top of each other. So we're going to create a bunch of that because we're going to need it everywhere. So let's do a couple things here. First of all, let's just get the basic setup here. If I drop some storage cells in here, come on, there we go. Storage cell is basically drop storage cell here, redstone, glass, and iron. Think of this as the storage size, and then all of this is the casing around it. So basically, when you move up to the larger drives, you're putting in larger storage blocks. So let's create a couple of 1K storage cells. And I think the easiest way at this point is to just kind of get the network going. So, as we saw slightly earlier, what is this? Well, I've kind of transformed this level. You see I still have a hallway over to the elevator and a hallway over to the walkway. I'm going to quickly switch into me form and eat while I do that. And let's take a look in here. Now, you may look in here and say, wow, so this looks pretty claustrophobic. There's no space in here, the lighting's harsh, and the floors and ceiling look dirty. If you're tending to ask those questions, you have obviously never been in a real data center. So I've chosen this space for the data center. This is marble brick, basically done by taking that marble out of the ground from Project Red and crafting it 4x4 in or 2x2, sorry, in a crafting grid. And these are inverted white lamps, which are done with putting Lumix and a redstone torch and a couple other items into a crafting table. Very easy to create, and I like them because it creates it looks like the harsh light of fluorescent lights in the in the data center here. So first thing we're going to do is place the ME controller down. Once again, like I said, it takes power. So what I've done is I've taken I've got a steam dynamo under there with an aqueous accumulator and our handy dandy coal pipes that are running all throughout our base, and I've run it into here, and it's got a little bit of a charge built up. So the first thing I'm going to do, let's see here, put that back down. So I'm going to put the controller down here, and as you see, it's red, yellow, red, orange, yellow, green, green. So now it's fully powered. So, and if you put your mouse over it, you can see at the top of the screen, it's showing max power, blah, 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 blah. And if we right click on it, you can see the energy stored in the system and the energy in use. So pretty useful little device. But as you can see, there's not really anything set up. If you click on this, it shows you can switch between all the different build craft, energy, industrial craft, universal electricity, rotary craft. I'll just put it on build craft because it's a 10-to-1 ratio for build craft to RF. So, anyway. So the first thing we're going to do, very simple, straightforward, is I'm going to pop the, shift click, pop the storage chest here, right click, and we're going to put the 1K storage in here. At this point, we have basically just made a powered chest. We can put items in, and they'll be stored. And you can see the little quantities here. If you put in more, it'll just show you the quantities. Very straightforward. Not really much more that we're going to do on there. I usually order by number of items, and that way it sorts, most to least. Pretty straightforward. Usually I keep one of these chests around, and actually the light on the top, it's green when you've got space left in it. It's yellow when you've used up all 63 slots. You can only have 63 different types of items in a storage cell, and it goes red if you filled the entire drive. So, now that I've confused you, why would we create a powered chest? This is basically useless. You've lost your mind, Cam. Well, yeah. In that setup, yeah, I kind of have. You're not really supposed to use AE like that. That's a huge, huge waste. So, what can we do to enhance that? Well, there's quite a few things. Myself. First of all, what we want to do is create... is it this way? Nope. Is it this way? Nope. Is it this way? Nope. Okay, let's just take a look. We want an access terminal. Access terminal is conversion matrix, cable, and iron and glass. Very straightforward. Now the access terminal will let you create, it's basically an access point to the AE network. So if I put that on the network, I'll be able to see all the items that are in the network. Kind of like when we were looking at the chest, but for every single piece of storage in the network. So very, very useful. What is the other thing we want? Let's see here. We want a crafting monitor, which will come in handy a little bit later, because the other thing AE does is it does auto crafting. And let's see here. One other thing, we're going to take the access terminal we're going to put it into here and put it in with, what are we putting it in with? That? Nope. That? Nope. Why don't I just look it up? Storage cell. There we go. I'm going to turn the access terminal into a crafting terminal, which basically just gives us a little bit more control. And I'll show you that in a second here. If we go down here, I'll take some damage as I fall because I'm not in bat mode. So if I were to take this, I'm just going to run a cable here from now and plug it in there. If you see, we have the same interface as before, a little cramped, but now we can actually take items and we can basically use items out of the AE system to craft. Handy, huh? That comes in a lot more use later, but for now, we're going to put the crafting monitor down here. As you can see, every time you plug in something new into the AE network, it resets the whole thing. So if you have stuff that you're working on at the time, it resets and, whatever. Well, let's take a step back and see what we've done here. We basically have created a glorified chest still. We really don't have much else going on here. What I want to do is, I'll just illustrate it with cobble here. I'm going to want to create stacks of storage here using the ME drives, which are different from the ME chests. As we go along here, we're going to need more storage, so I'm going to create more and more drives. And then basically these are like racks in a server room. So what I should do is, well, I'll do that later. I'll run the stuff through. Oh, no. Now I've screwed everything up. What I should be doing is running things through the floor here to make it look pretty so I don't have cables strewn about. But once again, if you've ever worked in a data center, sometimes crap gets messy. So let's take a look here. I think we're going to wrap up here. The next step is going to be to expand out this system a little bit. This is kind of a lot to take in one episode, so I'm going to split it up into two parts. But the basics that you should take away from this: Applied Energistics, cool way of organizing your storage. Has some future potential for auto crafting, which we'll get to next time. And requires power, which you can see in use, 1.9 Minecraft joules, whatever. And a lot of different blocks that do various things, different ways of storing things. And I think in the next episode, a lot of this will start to make a lot more sense. So once again, thanks for watching. Thanks, Zos, for the sign. I really appreciate it. And as I glitch through the door, we will say farewell and see you next episode.